Hola, bienvenidos. Hello, welcome. My name is Tamari Lana, and I am the executive director of Fab Collab, and we do a weekly interview series called Curtain Call, where we feature different women in the performing arts, both on stage and off stage. And this week, I'm super honored to feature Esmeralda Enrique, who I've known for actually almost 30 years, I just realized, and who's an incredible dancer and very well-known flamenco dancer in Canada, and particularly in Toronto, where many of us have had seriously like a big opportunity starting our careers and studying and performing with her. So without further ado, oh, hi everyone. Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna, hello. And I'm just gonna invite her to join. Get dressed for the occasion because obviously it's Esmeralda, so you can't not do that. And she's just joining now. Hey! Hola!
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Great. I'm very good. Excited?
Yeah, me too. I interviewed you once before. Do you remember?
You used to do what?
I interviewed you once many years ago. Do you
Oh,
remember?
I actually don't.
It was for, I think it was a high school project. And I remember, and I was like, I came to the studio and I asked you all these questions and I was like writing them down. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, now I do.
I just remembered this morning. I'm like, I bet my mom has that project somewhere in the house.
Most likely does.
Yeah. So welcome, bienvenida to the series. Thanks everybody for joining. So let's get right into it. So as you know, Esmeralda is an incredible flamenco dancer here in the city. And right away, I just want to say she has a show coming up. What are the dates of the show, Esmeralda?
It's ayer y hoy, which means yesterday and today. And we are celebrating 40 years of the establishment of the Esmeralda Enrique Spanish Dance Company here in Canada.
Wow. So I want to talk about that, ayer y hoy. So let's start with ayer. That means yesterday and today, for those who don't speak Spanish. So I would love to talk about the ayer part and how you started and how you got to Toronto and all of that. So can you tell us first, where are you from? A bit where your background is, where you grew up. We'd love to hear that.
Yes, I was born in Texas, in the city called San Antonio. I come from a large family. We are 11 siblings, so a 13-member family. And all of us at one point danced. We either danced Spanish dance, folklore dance, all types of dance, mostly Mexican dance when we were young. And we would put on shows in our front yard, in the porch of our front yard, or in the backyard. And we'd gather up cousins or friends from the neighborhood to dance with us and to perform with us. And some people were better at singing, so they would sing. Others would recite poetry. Others would play musical instruments. And so I was always involved with performances, with producing, in that case, just putting it up on the clothesline as our backdrop and a little stage in front of it. And that was our stage. The sun was our lighting. So we had incredible opportunities through my parents to be able to develop our sense of sharing what we could do artistically with our siblings and with our friends, neighborhood kids, and with the schools that we would go to. So it was very communal, always, and not only for the fact that we were so many in my immediate family, but also just sharing with the neighborhood.
Wow. Did your parents sing and dance?
My father was not artistically inclined, but he was very supportive. My mother, on the other hand, had many artistic qualities, She was a painter. She was a designer of costumes. She was a costume maker. She was a storyteller. She also was an actor. She did many plays and performed throughout the city. Also, when we moved to California, she did a lot of plays as well.
Wow. I didn't know that. And what number were you in all the children?
Yeah, in the birth lineage, two twin brothers, then my older sister, and then.
Oh my God, I'm learning so much. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So then, if you were doing all this Mexican dance and music, what brought you? How did you get into the flamenco world?
Because during the time that we were growing up, there was the polio epidemic going on. And so the doctors advised and it attacks the muscles, right? And so the doctors advised that children get as much physical exercise as possible, especially my brother, since it could have been just growing pains, right? But they were always complaining about pain in their legs. So my mother got scared, and so she put them into baseball, she put them into track, she put them into free dance lessons at the community center. So every time she would take them, my older brothers, to go take their dance classes, which is Mexican dancing that has a lot of footwork. Myself would on the sidelines be dancing as well. Eventually, my brothers didn't want to dance anymore, but we did. My sister and I wanted to dance, so she continued to bring us to those community center dance lessons. And that's how we got involved with not only Mexican dancing, but Hawaiian dancing, many other types. And eventually, the teacher that I had for Mexican dancing also started to introduce Spanish dance, like Paso Sevillana, things like that. And her niece then traveled to Spain and brought back flamenco dances. So that's what she started, and that's how I got involved in flamenco.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I felt that was like the one area that was really more challenging for me. And it had a lot more that I could learn from or pick out, right? And it really intrigued me. So I kept at it.
So it's the challenge of it that really drew you to it. It was the challenge that drew you to it.
Yes. The challenge, learning how to coordinate so many different things: footwork, body, arms, hands, expressiveness, plus understanding the rhythmical characteristics of each dance and how it differentiates from the other, how to make what you know how to do physically with what you're hearing being sung. So all of this was like, whoa, it's very challenging and like mind-blowing, that it was a different approach to how I had been dancing before. I had to really pay the music to the singing and all that, as you know.
Yeah. That's what I love too, and the hardest part. So how did you go? I guess, how old were you around when you started flamenco?
I must have been about 10 or 11, maybe 12.
My little Esmeralda. Oh my God.
I have a little picture of myself here in the studio. With a flamenco dress, right?
Oh my God. I just want to say hi to everyone. Hola, Analia. Hola, Noelia. Hola, Carmen. And Catherine and Makeda and everybody joining. Thanks for being here. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat that you want to know for Esmeralda, and I'll ask her them. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know how, so from dancing, I guess, but now you were in California, right? Because you were in Texas, then California.
Yes.
Right.
We eventually, my dad got a job or got transferred to work in California, and so the family moved to California. I was going to school, to high school, but then we started getting involved with the flamenco scene there, and eventually a very well-known dancer who lived at that time in Los Angeles. We heard of her, so we wanted to go take classes with her. And so my dad drove us to Los Angeles. We found an apartment where we could stay. This was over the summer. I said, okay, you guys can stay here. I'll come every weekend to visit you. And that's what he did. From San Diego, would drive 2 hours to come visit us every weekend. During the week, we would be taking classes and studying with Luisa Triana, who is a very well-known, who continues to be a very well-known dancer, very an excellent performer, very innovative also. She, after having seen us in her classes, asked us to be part of her company for a performance that she was putting together at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion in Los Angeles, a very well-known center there.
Wait,
and
how old were you? I want to know, how old were you when you moved to LA?
I was a teenager, maybe about 16 or something like that.
That's 16. Amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so you're living on your own in LA, just to study Flamenco. Yeah.
Vision from my dad.
Yeah, but once a week. That's a whole week in between. And I see your questions. We'll get to them. Analia and my mom. Yeah, we'll get to them. Okay, so she saw you. Can you say her name? Luisa Jereana? What is it?
She's the daughter of Antonio de Triana, who was a partner with Carmen Amaya. So she has a very direct lineage and a direct connection to Carmen Amaya, who she saw very often as a child performing. So, and through Luisa, I became enamored of Carmen Amaya. I mean, anyone would be on the room, but it was Luisa's, the way she would talk about her and just, it was almost indescribable. She had no words really to describe the power that Carmen Amaya had, you know, if you saw her dance. So there was that even drew me more to want to be a better dancer.
Wow.
Yes, after that performance, that concert, Luisa started getting more work, like performances in Las Vegas, tours of California. We even came all the way up to Vancouver. So I had been in Canada many years, a 16-year-old, but of course all I remember from Vancouver, it was in the fall, were the leaves, the colored leaves, the red leaves. So that's all I remember of that time.
That's so beautiful. Okay, so you toured all over North America. I mean, all over Canada and the States, I guess.
Yes.
With Luisa, was your sister also touring?
Pardon? Yes, both of us together. I never went without her, nor she without me, except when she joined the Jose Greco company. Then she was there with Jose Greco for a year before I joined. And I joined, and again, we were touring a lot, doing many performances. That was his thing, to perform in concerts, right? And so the tours were grueling, but they were a lot of fun. They were beautiful dances. He had the most exquisite costumes, from classical costumes to jotas. We were dancing jotas, we were doing flamenco, we were doing bata de cola, fans, shawls, everything, right? He had quite the extensive repertoire in his presentations, from the very neoclassical to flamenco.
Where did you tour with him?
Again, a stint, I remember this so vividly, a stint at the Secret Palace in Las Vegas. And we were the opening act for Frank Sinatra. It was such an amazing, yes, and Frank Sinatra came backstage and had signed photographs that he gave to all the artists. I don't know where my photograph ever went. I lost it.
No.
in many movies that I did, I misplaced it, or maybe one of my sisters took it.
Probably.
It's all over. Mostly the northern part of the States is where we toured.
Wow. What did
And,
you feel when he asked you to join the company?
you know, it was Nana Lorga, his wife at the time, who called us at home, and she asked to speak to my parents first, my mom, and she said, we've heard of your daughters, and we want to, through Luisa Triana, we've heard of them, Luisa, you know, gave us, highly recommended them to us, and we're looking forward to hire them if they would be available for this tour and for these performances. And so my mother said, they are available, but I will let you speak to them. And you to them. So we both came on the phone, and she said, this is Nana Lorca, and I'm calling on behalf of Jose Greco, and we would like you to invite you to be part of the company for these tours. And she said, would you like to come? And we looked at each other, we said, yes.
Oh my God.
You know, that just opened up other ways for us to be able to continue with our
Why did she go a year earlier?
I forget if I was underage or something.
Probably. Yeah, because what about school?
Yeah, I had to be at least 16 or I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure, or 18. I forget the age, but I was underage. But my sister could. So,
right, so she started and you joined. Wow. What about school?
School, that was so these it was a little bit tricky, so I sort of had to do some homework right during the tours, and I would mail them. Right, there was nothing like internet at that time, but I would mail my assignments in. And my mom would take them to the school, and she said, no, she's doing really well. The other night she assured me that she was reading her geography books or reading this. So I know that they're keeping up with their schoolwork, and so she didn't
That's
want
amazing.
to, you know, have us dragged back to attend school. And because of my school and supported us, it was a you know, it was fine with them.
I love that. I understand. That's what I did. But so how did you go from touring in the States? Like, because I think you told me in the past that you also toured in Spain and throughout Europe. So did you go with Jose Greco there?
No, actually, although the whole company went to Spain at the end of a tour. This was also when I had to go back to finish some schoolwork. And so Mr. continued with the rest of the tour. And at the end of the tour, they were going to be in Ohio or somewhere like that before they went to New York. And right at the date where they were going to be in this one state, my sister called and she said, we are going to go, after the tour is finished, we're going to go to Spain. We're going to spend the summer there. Do you want to come along? And I said, of course I want to come along. So, how are you going to get here? And I said, I don't have any money. How can I get, I'm a student. I don't have any money. So she said, okay, buy a bus ticket and get to Ohio. If you have enough money to get to Ohio, then the rest of the tour you travel with us on the bus. And I said, okay, that's a good idea. So I got a ticket. I dropped out of school. I got a bus ticket, a Greyhound bus ticket, and I traveled to Ohio, met the company there during their last performance. And the rest of the tour, I was on the bus, and I was just like a groupie. And we finished the tour in New York. The dancers, not all of them, but four of us, my sister, myself, Roberto Amaral, and Oscar Nieto. Can you believe these four people from the States? And one more, Rosa Maria. We traveled to Spain. We got an apartment together. and we lived all together, and we started taking classes there, thinking we would be there only for a summer, because I had to come back and finish my schooling. But that summer, within 2 weeks that we had gone to see a show at the Tablao in Madrid, Café de Chinitas, Serranito, the guitarist, who was the head of putting the tablao on, or head of the artists there, he saw my sister and he said, what are you guys doing here? And I said, oh, we came to study and we're dancers and we're this and like that. And so he looked at my sister and he said, you dance? And she says, yeah, I dance. And he said, okay, you want to dance here? And she said, okay. He said, okay, when can you start? And I said, I don't have any costumes. He said, when can you get a costume? He said, okay, give me a few days. And so the next week, she started dancing at Café de Chinita.
What?
And so then, within in the last month of the summer, in August, or towards the last month, another friend that was also taking classes, she said, hey, do you know that they need a dancer at this Cuevas de Nemesio? Why don't you go? I'll go with you, and then we'll talk with the owner. And so she took us to this other tablao, Cuevas de Nemesio. And the guy said, yeah, have her come, you know. And so the last month, I was dancing, my sister was dancing, and we said, okay, so are we going to go back, or what's going to happen? And so then this same friend, Mara, she said, you know, I'm going to be starting at the Canasteros in September. I have an agent who got me the gig, and I have a year's contract. She said, you want me to speak to him? And I said, okay, why not? And so she spoke to him, he spoke to us, and he said, okay, you guys are going to do an audition for Caracol. No other than Caracol, the owner.
Oh my God. This is crazy.
All you guys are going to do, we're going to go in from the back entrance. You're going to go to the dressing room. You're going to change. When they say it's time for you to go out and do your performance, you come out, you do your performance. You don't talk. You don't say anything. You go back up to your dressing room. You change. You wait for me there. And we said, okay. So that's what we did. So ladies, come down, you can do your performance. I danced a little bit, my sister danced a little bit. He said, okay, now dance sevillanas, dance a little bit of fandangos, dance a little bit of this, dance a little bit of that. We did that. He said, okay, I'll talk with your agent. We went. When the agent came back, he said, okay, guys, you have a year's contract.
Oh my God.
I said, okay, we've got a year's contract. That means we're not going back for this year.
That's amazing. Was there music when you were dancing, or is it just by yourselves? Was there music, like cante en guitarra, when you were dancing?
No, I was a singer, of course. We never met them before.
Okay,
you know, we just went.
Yeah.
There they were. Started to play for us, started to sing.
That's amazing. So you stayed for a year?
Yeah, we stayed there at the Canaceros for a year, except for the month of August, when everyone closes. But a whole 11 months, and I was just commenting before that first year, we worked 7 days a week, 2 cuadros a night, no day off. The first cuadro lasted 2 hours. Then they had all the stars doing their show. The second cuadro lasted about an hour and a half, sometimes an hour, you know, went over a little bit. Wow. So it was a lot of hard work. Our hands were all, you know, torn apart from the palmas, from doing so much palma. But we were happy. Yeah, we were just,
that's such a beautiful story.
In this life. So.
Yeah. Why did you come back? Did you go back to your family then after that?
My sister met her husband there at Canaceros. So she was. She eventually got married. She has 3 kids. From Canasteros, of course, people came in to see who are the new people in the cuadro this year. And got called for different galas and things like that during, you know, that we could coordinate with our shows in the evening. And eventually the owner rather Cristobal Reyes and Manolete, both spoke to the owner of Torres Bermejas, saying, "You got to get this girl. She's really good, and she's a hard worker. She won't give you any problems. She doesn't drink. She doesn't she doesn't stay up late except for dancing. So the owner at Torres Bermejas said, okay, bring her over, and it was my audition was to actually do the show. So I went in, got dressed, went up and sat with the rest of the cuadro. And then the guitarist, okay, you're next. What are you dancing? I said, tientos? And he said, no, you're dancing alegrías. So, okay, whatever. So I danced, and the guy said, okay, you can stay. And I said, for how long? I said, for as long as you want, And so I had a very good relationship with the owner of Torres Bermejas. When I would get offers to do tours, he'd say, okay, how long will you be away? I'll be away a month. I'll be away 3 months. He said, okay, come see me when you're done. And so every time I went away on a tour with different companies, Miguel Sandoval, Antonio, sorry, but many companies, Sara Lezana, Antonio del Castillo. And I'd come back and I say, okay, I'm going to rest for a day or two. And then I would, go to Torres Bermejas, and Don Felipe would see me and say, oh, Esmeralda, you're back. When are you going to start? I said, okay, I'll start. And so it was very, a different way of working that I had in Spain on for 13 years, almost 13 years, that I never had to seek out employment. All I had to do was go to a certain bar, right, where that was right at the corner of Amor de Dios Studios, where all the flamenco dancers, singers, guitarists would hang out, in between classes or in between rehearsals. You walk in and people would say, oh, Esmeralda, what are you doing now? And I said, nothing, I just finished this tour, I just finished this. And he said, oh, I hear so-and-so is looking for dancers. Right. Yeah, and so we would connect that way. Or even in at the Amor de Dios Studios, people would say, are you available for this tour? Are you available for this gig? And so that was the system of how got work. And it wasn't just me, all the artists would just show up strategic times of the day to be able to put the word out that they were available.
Yeah, that is so cool. How can we do that here?
I know it doesn't work the same way here.
We need to create that.
Yeah.
We need to create that scene, that corner. Well, the studio is a bit like that. But yeah, and have a tablao attached to the studio. That'd be cool.
That's right.
That's so cool. So if we went for the summer and you stayed 13 years, that's wild.
Yes.
So
there was a break at the time because I was, after about 5 years, I was very, very homesick. So I did go back home and stayed maybe 8 months or so, thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to do this. But I didn't feel fulfilled at all. One morning, I just woke up and I said, I got to go back. And that same day, I got a ticket. And, in a few days, I was back in Toronto. In Spain.
In Spain. Does your sister still dance?
She did not, because she started having her family. She did, a few galas and stuff like that. She and her husband moved to Mexico, and they lived there for a number of years. And so she sort of stopped dancing.
Oh, we got to bring her back.
Yeah.
As a guest. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
So then how did you, I know everybody's dying to know this answer. Everybody wants to know how you got from Spain to Canada. So let's ask.
Yeah. Many Canadians in Toronto may remember, if you're into flamenco, you may remember the Don Quixote restaurant. It was a restaurant, very fine, very good Spanish food on the main floor. And in the top floor, it was a tablao. So it used to be the agent that was in charge of bringing artists from Spain. His name was Domingo. We were friends because he was also the agent for many different artists that I knew. And said, Esmeralda, if you get a group together, you, another dancer, a guitarist, and singer, I can take you to Canada to the tablao.
Wow.
And I said, Canada? And I just had in my in ignorance, a vision of Canada being very cold, full of ice, and me suffering the cold, right? And I thought, no, I don't think I want to go to Canada, But anyway, so he kept, over the years, many years, he kept saying, Esmeralda, you get your group together, and I'll take you to Canada, Esmeralda. And I said, so finally, one of my friends was at Torres and Mejas. She said, Esmeralda, guess what? I'm going to Canada. And I said, yeah, you're going to go to Canada? Not to that tablao. She said, no, my boyfriend is opening a tablao in Toronto. And I said, really? And she said, that's great. She said, and I want you to come with me. And I said, no, I don't want to go to Canada. I said, plus, I already have given my word to another dancer who has a company who's going to Japan. And I always wanted to go to Japan to perform. And she said, oh, you're going to Japan. And I said, well, I really wanted you to come with me. And so then, they put the screws on me in the sense that they started buttering me up. She and her dad, they invited me to their house for dinner. They would do this, and they would, and they would be very, oh, Esmeralda, you would have so much fun, and you good buddies, and you would be, and my daughter needs, a friend that she can confide in, and she can be, she feels like, that you speak English, and you would help her, and you would. I said, okay, but I can't because I already I'm going to start rehearsals on Monday to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Monday? You're starting Monday? They got panicky, and I said, okay, come to our house on Sunday. I'll make you a dinner. This will be our last farewell dinner before you.
Oh my God, they tricked you.
And so he put out this beautiful spread, a paella, all this wonderful. He was a great cook, so she was. Yolanda was saying, "I'm going to get married," and she brought out her bridal, wedding gown book so that we could help me pick out my wedding dress and stuff like that. Oh, this is nice. And she said, and so her dad was there the whole time, smoking a cigarette, and he was saying, Esmeralda, my daughter's talking about getting married when she gets to Toronto to her boyfriend. And he was smoking like that. But I don't know if she's going to get married. And Yolanda said, what? Of course. And she said, but you're going to go and you're the one that's going to stay there.
No.
You made that. I said, Pepe. I know, Pepe, I haven't even stepped on the airplane. I haven't even stepped on landed in Canada, and you already have me there the rest of my life. I said, I hope it's not because it's something bad happens to me. And he said, yes. And Yolanda, he didn't say anything, but Yolanda said, Esmeralda, my dad rarely makes predictions, but when he does, they come true. So by then, I had already said, yes, I'll go with you. And the next morning I was there at the doorway of Amor de Dios waiting for the head of the company to talk to him and let him know that I couldn't do the tour to Japan.
No.
I know, it was like one of the few times where I had to back out of my word, because there was in my word. So when I came to Canada, of course, I've told you the story before, but we opened the opened on a Saturday evening, and it was packed to the rafters. the El Flamenco on Bloor Street. And my Yolanda looked out the curtain and she said, "Oh, there's so and so and so and so. I want you to meet. Oh, my friends are here tonight on this and that and there's my other friend." And I peeked out and I said, "And who's that guy with the white shirt?" And she said, "Oh, him? I don't know him." And she just kept and I just said, you know. And who was it? None other than Sal, my husband, right? So there it was. It was like fate. And he
So
kept,
wait, you
kept
peeked
coming.
out of the curtain and you saw Sal?
The person I see is Sal. Yeah, I know. And
Makes me want to cry. That's really beautiful.
he kept coming every night, even on the slow nights. He kept coming. This was at the end of
Did
May.
he see you peek? Did he see you peek out the curtain?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was at the end of May. I believe it was May 28th when we opened. I'm not sure, but around
Wow.
that. And my birthday is on June 10th.
Crying too, Analia.
On June 10th, because they had a band also. The head of the band, he said, "Oh, and tonight's Esmeralda's birthday. We're going to sing her happy birthday." And so they did. The whole, waiters and everybody started singing happy birthday. And then Sal got the bright idea to invite me to have a drink with him, some champagne. So he ordered some champagne, and he sent the waiter to let me know if that he would like to invite me to celebrate my birthday.
Wow.
And I looked at Pepe, Yolanda's father, and I said, "Pepe, what should I do? What should I do?" He said, "Let me go with you to the table. And if I see that he's a shady kind of guy, I'll say, Esmeralda, we got to get ready for the second show." And then we excuse ourselves and we go. But if I see that he's okay, I'll say, Esmeralda, whenever it's time to get ready, just remember that we have a second show.
Nice.
I'll leave. So exactly within a few minutes that we were seated there, Pepe got up and he said, "I'll see you later, Esmeralda." So that's how Sal and I started dating, and eventually we got engaged about 8 months after we met, and we married. Yes, we married. Yes, a month after we met. We married 3 months after we met, and it's been 40 years.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I knew some of that, but I didn't know all of that. 3 months.
Yeah.
Where was your wedding?
At City Hall. City Hall.
Yeah.
Because it was on a Tuesday, right? When we got married. We got married on a Tuesday, and that night I had to work. So I had to show So we got married all into work. Eventually we thought, okay, one day we'll get your family to come. My family's here, but we'll get and some of my family, because he's Italian, so some of my family from Italy will come, and your family, whoever can come, will come down, and we'll have a proper wedding. Never happened, but that's okay. Our commitment is there.
God, I want to do that wedding, and I want to bring your sister to dance, and then so many things. I'm like, we have to do so many things. Let's do it for the 50th golden anniversary. We have 10 years to plan.
You have
we should do it. Let's do it. Okay, so you never went back? You just stayed here then? You stayed in Canada after that?
Went back because I had, during the time I was in Spain, I did buy some property. So I had an apartment. I had an apartment that I had to sell. I had left my stuff there, the majority of my stuff, because I was coming for only 6 months. But
that's wild.
So I had to bring my stuff. So a few times we went and, we enjoyed a vacation there, and we visited places in Spain.
But you told me one time, you said, Sal, how did it go? That Sal asked you what you needed in order to stay. Remember? And you said you needed, what did you say you needed to stay? He's like, how can I convince you to stay or something? He asked you. And I think, You told me, you said, I need a studio. And he said, okay. And that's how the studio began, right? Is that true?
Yes, my dilemma, not in accepting the proposal to marry him, but my dilemma in staying here was that I immediately thought, how am I going to work here?
Yeah.
This tablao gig is not going to be, they're going to be wanting to have different artists there, like any tablao, in order to survive. I said, so how am I going to be able to survive here in this city, in this country? There's not that much flamenco. I mean, not like I was used to in Spain,
Yeah.
Yes, I said, I need to work. I need to be able to work, and what I know how to do best, I've, some other things that I know how to do, but what I know most about and what I can do best is flamenco, either perform, teach. And so not necessarily a studio, but I needed to be able to do that. So I believe that was my answer to him. I need to be able to continue performing or to be teaching. Either one would be fine with me. So I tried other things when I was here, but I was not. I became a real estate agent, believe it or not. I became a real estate agent. Then it dawned on me. Then it dawned on me that to show real estate, you had to drive clients around. I don't drive. So that went out the window. And I have never driven. I'm afraid of driving. So that was it.
But you have your knight in shining armor.
It was interesting for me to try something different, something
for a day.
Yeah.
For a day and then come back. Me too.
To drive, and still with my learner's permit, I went through a red light and I said, that's it. I'm not going to do this.
Oh my God. Amazing. Okay. So I want to answer two questions from the beginning. So Analia wants to know, like, some of the people that you might have met over the past 40 years or I guess your career, who you're the most starstruck in meeting, that's Analia's question. Who were you the most starstruck about meeting?
Here in Canada?
Here or there, anywhere, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the most, before I came to Canada, one of the most starstruck that I was of Jose Greco, because he was like world famous. Yeah. And he had this rich baritone voice. He had the statue of David body, that sculpturally beautiful physique. And handsome, and just very imposing, very, so it was very, oh my God, I'm standing in front of Jose Greco, and I'm, more than just dancing in the company, it was just being there next to him.
What was it like working with him? What was it like? Was he strict? Was he like,
Strict, yes, demanding. He didn't lead the rehearsals, and Ana Lorca led the rehearsal. So, but once he came into the studio, everyone was like at attention, almost like it was very. He's very strict, but at the same time very artistic. Very. He can be when he mellows out, when he's not working, when he's at dinner, or we're just having a drink after. He's very mellow and very calm, and he was very engaging.
What's the biggest thing you learned from working with him?
The professionalism that is required. How to respect the theater, how to respect the audience, not to go on stage half thinking of what you're going to have for dinner or what other things. You have to be truly focused when you are on stage to what you must do to bring about the magic that happens on stage, right? It doesn't happen magically. You make that magic happen.
Ole, I agree with that. That's what I learned from you, Esmeralda.
Yeah.
So
How do you that 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 spill off into other areas of your life when you become a true artistic professional? You learn how to respect yourself, the stage, your art, and all of that's involved with all of that.
hmm So I have to ask my mom's question because I told everyone I'd ask your questions. So she wants to know, do you remember when I first brought Tamar to your studio on College Street?
I remember meeting Tamar in a film that we were doing, Expulsion and Memory, right? I remember that, and Tamar was like the stagehand blowing the mist to create this misty atmosphere, the fog machine. So she was spreading it up to the cardboard. And I remember that, and I would see her, and she was there so serious with her cardboard, trying to make the mist go in. Then she started getting creative, and the mist was going in my face, and so the director stopped her and said, "Okay, not so much, too much." But I do remember her being very serious, and very mature for her age. Still a little girl, a girl, but very mature for her age.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Yeah, no, it's true, because those are the memories when you first click onto somebody. Those are the memories I have.
Aww. For those of you watching, I started studying with Esmeralda, I think I was 7 or 8 years old. So and I'm 36 now, so it's been almost 30 years, Esmeralda. I'll have to do another party. So, okay, I know it's been almost an hour, and I know you have rehearsal to get back to. So I know it's crazy. I could talk to you for 5 hours, but I'm conscious of your time. And I think we'll have to do a part 2 because we have to talk about those 40 years, So we'll have to do a part 2. Come to the show. But let's talk about the show for a minute before you have to go, because just so people know, in the background, what you're hearing are the rehearsals for the show. So I can hear the dancers, the singers. Manu's here. So tell us a bit about the show. Who's here? What is it about? What are we going to see? Yeah, tell us.
So, yes, the show is called Ayer y Hoy, and the first half is ayer, which means yesterday. So we are doing a recordatorio. How do you say that? A retrospective, sorry, of some of the most. I had the dancers pick the dances that they connected to the most, and each one had, oh, I love this one and this. I love doing this one. And so we have a retrospective of many dances that we've done, not full dances, but because we wanted to do snippets of each one and thread them all together over the years. So we've done what the first half will be about. Second half is hoy, and so that means today. But not only today, it's today plus the future. So all new choreographies for the second half. We have choreography by Javier Latorre, by Mónica Iglesias, and by Daniel Ramos. So 3 very different styles of dancing and different pieces, which are lovely. They're just really lovely. I like them a lot.
And where can people get tickets?
You can buy them online or through our website. We have a landing page, and we have directions on how to buy your tickets through our website, flamencos.net, or you can go to the Harborfront ticket box office website, right? But it's almost easy to go through ours because ours is direct to the tickets and the information about the show.
Flamencos.net. Go check it out.
Flamencos.net.
And
yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the artists that are in this year's show?
Yes. From Spain, we have Manuel Soto, who is a wonderful singer. Remember him from past shows. We've been bringing him He's from Jerez de la Frontera. We've been bringing him for about the past 10 years or so. Lovely, lovely person, and an excellent singer, palmero, everything, and an artist that integrates himself with anything that needs to be done. He puts out, okay, I can do this. I can sing here. If you want, I can do this. So he's very gracious in that sense, and very he gives of himself a lot. We have Carlos, who's an excellent composer, who's done the majority of the music. One of the very few flamenco guitarists, female flamenco guitarists there are. Nowadays there are more.
And we interviewed her on Curtain Call about a month ago. So if you're interested in learning about her, we'll post that link also. She was on the show. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, Benjamin Barile, who also is like one of Toronto's top flamenco guitarists, a two-time Dora Award winner for his compositions. We have Miguel Medina, a percussionist from Montreal also, first time that he's coming with us. Marcos Marin, who also, when I first came to Canada, he was one of the first singers, he and his brother, Arcadio, Arcadio was a guitarist, and Marcos is the singer. So one of the first two that
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
So it's like,
wow.
Full circle. Beautiful singer also.
Yeah.
The dancers, of course, are besides myself, Nancy Cardwell, who's been with the company over 20 years. I don't know exactly how many, but over. Pamela Briz, also maybe about 8 years she's been with us. Virginia Castro, about how long? 10, 6, I don't know. It's a long time ago. The newest member is Alison McDonald, but also we've been, working together, and I've known all of these people for a very, very long time, even before they were company members.
Yeah, and they've also been in some Fab Club shows. So if anybody was at La Cueva a couple of weeks ago, Alison was hosting it, and she'll be dancing there. Benjamin is in Ventanas, and he was at all our women in song shows. And who else was in some of the shows? I can't remember, but you've seen some of them in our shows, so go check them out. And I have two more things I want to ask you. I mean, I have 1,000 things, but right now, first, is there anything that you really want people to know about you, or about the company, about the show that I didn't ask, or about your time here in Canada? Anything that you really wanted to get across that I just haven't asked?
Well, I want people to know that I'm very grateful for the way my life turned out here. I wasn't planning on staying here, but I'm very grateful, and I don't think I would have done all that I've done here in Canada had I gone back to Spain. I'm of that. So Canada has given me an opportunity that I never expected.
Why? Because you think you would have just gone and done tablaos kind of forever instead of starting your own company? Is that what it is?
I don't know if I would have gone back to tablaos or what, but I just know that it's intuitive, something that I feel that what I've been able to do here is because it's Canada, not because I've been in another place, right? And multicultural atmosphere and vibe that there is here is part of it, especially Toronto. So multicultural, very rich. It enriches everything that we do.
Yeah. Right? And you've won a lot of awards, but people can look them up, Dora Awards and influential Hispanic figures in Canada awards, and, many, many awards for all the work that you've done here. It's been incredible. You've really opened the door and changed so many people's lives. You changed my life forever. Yeah. And that's what Shirley's saying. You've helped so many of us grow into artists. Love you, Esmeralda. Yeah. And I agree with that. And did you ever go to Japan? Did you ever go to Japan?
No.
It's on the list. We'll have to get you there. Then I do want to say, I don't want to interrupt too much, but do you think you can sneak into the room and show us a bit of the rehearsal?
Yeah.
We want to see behind the scenes. Okay, guys, this is top preview, sneak peek. We're just gonna sneak into the rehearsal.
So this is one of the pieces that we are doing in the ayer portion.
Nice. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias.
Everyone's like, ole, ole, ole. What?
Amar, love you.
Love you, Esmeralda. Gracias. Thank you so much.
You're
See you
welcome.
at the show.
See you at the show, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.